2、1。
Mic check 1 2. What it do? Welcome back to the Mic Check podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Today we're talking about David Morrell versus Cena Ekbeko and the finale of Showtime Championship Boxing. But before we get into the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then let us know what you think in the comment section. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right. So this card was the final card. We had the last pay-per-view a couple weeks ago with Benavidez and Andrade, or Bubu Andrade, I guess, however you want to call it. And now this was the finale of regular championship boxing on the subscription version of Showtime. Many of you are aware that Showtime is kind of sort of folding itself into the Paramount Plus branding. So a lot of the extended things that go on with Showtime are getting pushed out or folded into Paramount, and Showtime Sports has shuttered its productions, period. So this was going to be it on the YouTube portion of the card. You had Lawrence King and Alex Theron. This ended with a fourth round KO by King. This was your light heavies. Then you had Kyron Davis versus Cruz Stewart. This was a middleweight fight, went 8 rounds, and Davis won a unanimous decision. Some people may remember Davis from man, he put in a valiant effort against David Benavidez, I think early last year, might have been 2021, but he gave him a hell of a fight, and his corner had to stop it because David was just a tough son of a gun. But he went ahead and got a unanimous decision, and this was at middleweight. He actually came in against Benavidez blown up, and he was a last minute replacement. So shout out to him for finding this proper weight class and getting a nice victory. Next up to close out the YouTube portion was Alberto Puello versus Hector Madera. And this is a UD by Puello, super lightweight, so this is 140 pounds. If you remember, Puello was the WBA champion, and he was supposed to fight Rolly Romero, but he tested positive for PEDs, and he was put out of the fight and stripped of his title. And then Rolly stepped in to fight Ishmael Barroso, and he got like a weird funky stoppage, so he has the belt that used to belong to Puello. So Puello's looking to get back in the championship picture. All right, then we moved over to actual Showtime, the TV stream, and you had Robert Guerrero versus Andre Berto, and this was two 40-plus fighters who, in my opinion, gave the most entertaining fight of the night. Let's be honest. I mean, it went 10 rounds. Guerrero did win a 10-round unanimous decision at welterweight. It was like 149 pounds, but excuse me. Listen, man, this was a damn good fight. I love that they let combinations go. They used their footwork. They showed contact curves, like they were willing to stand in the pocket and punch. When you get older, for those out there that may or may not compete in boxing or combat sports, when you get older, you want to get hit less. And while you could see that they weren't trying to take too many unnecessary punches, you did see they would put themselves in harm's way sometime and go for the gusto. And both of them took some big shots from each other. But at the end of the day, I thought that they were really competitive. I had it a draw. However, the judges did score pretty lopsided in favor of Guerrero. I guess they just didn't like what Berto was doing. But Guerrero says he wants to keep fighting, so we'll see how that goes for him. He is 40 years old. All right, next up, we had the co-main. A co-feature. This was a rematch between Chris Colbert and Jose Valenzuela, aka El Rayo, and this one ended up with a 6-round KO by Rayo and a 12-round fight at 135 pounds. Now, personally, I don't think Chris Colbert belongs at 135. He doesn't have the chin for that weight class, and now that he's been knocked out cold like he was against Valenzuela, I don't know what his chin's going to be like if he goes back down to 130. Now, I'm looking at his, I guess it's weird to say, but I was looking at like his face and stuff, and you can see where he's holding the weight in his face. So maybe he's just having a problem with eating and maintaining the weight. He's getting a little older, so it's just a discipline issue of trying to get back down to 130. But I really think it would serve his career better to try to get back on track. He now has 2 losses, and he could still be in the championship picture at 130, because I think he might be able to hold up and weather the storm. But El Rayo came in with the game plan. He improved his sharpness. He was crisp. He landed really good punches. In fact, he knocked down Colbert in the first round, and then he continued to apply pressure throughout. The fact that Colbert made it 6 rounds was a little amazing, but that knockout was brutal, and there's nothing you can do when you get caught clean like he did and then knocked him into and through the ropes. And basically the ref, he didn't even try to count. He waved it off. Chris was flat on his face, and they had to take their time and roll him over. Then you had the finale, David Morrell versus Cena Ekbeko, and this was another fighter lined up to fight Morrell that This dude is just like a freight train or bullet train going full speed, and there's just nothing to stop him. The problem is he's fighting guys that aren't giving enough resistance, and I don't think it's because he's that good. I think he's just not lining up with guys who have the contact courage or the chin to stand up. He needs a Gabe Rosado type, somebody that's gonna stand in there and throw hands with your ass, and they're gonna fight to the bitter end. These guys are just, they're just not it. And he's not facing anybody that has skills that offset what he does well. Somebody with movement that can box from the outside and do a little bit more in the ring could probably give him a bigger challenge, but he's just not seeing that. And when it's time for him to fight David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant, those guys who've been through the fire, he's gonna have a hard time facing the slick fire. That's all I can say about that. But did you watch the card, the Showtime finale? Shout out to them for putting on years of boxing. Sad to see it go, but you know, the main people associated with the Showtime brand as far as boxing goes, PBC, they already have a new deal with Amazon, which we'll talk about in another video. So let me know what you think. This has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.